You're standing in the baking aisle. There's a bag that just says flour, and right next to it, one that says bread flour same size, costs more, and it's basically shouting, "You need me." So you buy it. And a quiet little voice asks, "Did I just get played? Is bread flour a real thing, or is it the same powder in a fancier bag, charging you extra to feel like a real baker?" Here's the honest answer, and it's more interesting than yes or no. Bread flour is real, the difference is measurable, and the entire secret is printed on the back of the bag in a single number almost nobody reads. Protein. Flour looks like the simplest ingredient in the kitchen. It's just wheat ground into powder. But that powder is graded, like fuel has octane. And the one spec that decides how your dough behaves is the protein percentage. It's on every bag. In the nutrition panel, grams of protein per serving. Line the flours up and they fall on a ladder. Cake flour sits low, around 7 to 9% protein, soft, delicate, for tender crumbs. All-purpose is the middle, roughly 10 to 12% a compromise, built to do everything okay and nothing perfectly. Bread flour is up around 12 to 14%, and high-gluten flour, for bagels and pretzels, pushes past 14%. That's the whole spectrum. Same wheat family, different protein, and that difference isn't marketing. It's the difference between a loaf that stands up tall and one that spreads out flat. So why does protein matter this much? Because in wheat, two specific proteins do something almost no other flour on earth can. They're called glutenin and gliadin, and on their own, they're just inert little tangles. But add water and work them, and they link up into one connected, stretchy network gluten. Here's the technical part worth knowing, because it explains everything downstream. The two proteins have opposite jobs. Glutenin is the strength. It's elastic, it resists, it snaps back like a rubber band and holds shape. Gliadin is the flow. It's extensible. It lets the dough stretch and spread without tearing. Strength plus stretch. A dough needs both. Too much glutenin and it's tight and springs back and fights you. Too much gliadin and it's slack and won't hold a bubble. And here's the key link. The more protein in your flour, the more of this network it can build. More glutenin and gliadin means more gluten, means a stronger scaffold. Now watch what that stronger scaffold actually does in the oven. As yeast pumps out gas, every bubble pushes on the gluten walls around it. A strong, high-protein network bread flour holds those walls without tearing, so bubbles grow big and the loaf climbs up, tall, with a chewy bite and an open, holy crumb. A weaker, lower-protein network all-purpose can't stretch as far before it fails, so the gas escapes, the bubbles stay small, and you get a shorter loaf with a tighter, softer, and sackier crumb. Same recipe, same yeast, same oven. The only variable is how much protein was in the bag, and it changes the entire structure of the bread. This is the real, measurable thing you're paying the extra dollar for. Not magic, just more scaffolding. So more protein is just better, right? Buy the biggest number on the shelf and win? No. And this is where flour gets genuinely sneaky, because two bags with the exact same protein percentage can bake into completely different bread. Protein tells you how much. It doesn't tell you how good. First, where does the protein even come from? Not from a factory adding it from the wheat itself. Wheat comes in two broad camps. Hard wheat grown in dry, tough climates like the North American plains naturally packs more protein. Grind it, and you get high-protein flour. Bread flour. High-gluten flour. Soft wheat grown in milder, wetter places is lower in protein. Grind it, and you get cake and pastry flour. So, bread flour isn't a recipe someone invented. It's just what you get when you mill the right kind of wheat berry. All-purpose is often a blend of hard and soft, tuned to land in the safe middle so it can sort of do everything. That's literally what all-purpose means. A compromise. On purpose. Now the sneaky part. Protein tells you the quantity of gluten you can build, but not its quality. Two flours can both read 13% protein and behave nothing alike, because it also depends on the ratio and quality of that glutenin and gliadin, how strong and how stretchy the specific gluten is. Bakers actually measure this, and the tool is beautiful. It's called the Chopin alveograph. You take a disc of dough and inflate it like a bubblegum bubble with air until it bursts, and you record two things. P, the pressure it resists, its tenacity, its strength, and L, how far it stretches before popping its extensibility. The total energy it takes to blow the bubble is the flour's strength score, the W value. Weak flours sit around W90, strong bread flours run W300 and up. And the shape matters as much as the size. The P over L ratio, the balance of strength to stretch, ideally lands around 0.5 to 0.6, a dough that's strong and extensible. Here's the kicker that proves protein isn't the whole story. Two soft wheat flours with identical protein can measure W180 and W330, nearly double the strength and bake like different ingredients. That's why the W value exists. Protein is the headline, W is the truth. And this ties straight back to water. Remember, more protein means more gluten, and gluten is thirsty. Higher protein flour literally drinks more water. That's why you can't just swap one flour for another and keep the same recipe. In real numbers, an all-purpose dough finds its sweet spot around 75% hydration, while a strong bread flour is happy at 80% because that extra gluten soaks up the extra water. Flip it around, and it bites you. Pour a bread flour recipe's water into all-purpose flour, and the weaker flour can't hold it. You get a slack, soupy mess, and blame yourself. It wasn't you. You gave a lightweight flour a heavyweight amount of water. Change the flour, and you have to change the water. Quick myth to kill, because it fools almost everyone. Italian 00 flour. People treat 00 like a magic strength rating. Buy 00 and your pizza levels up. It isn't that. The Italian numbers 00012 describe how finely the wheat is milled and how much bran and germ is removed, nothing else. 00 just means talcum powder fine, fully refined. It says nothing about protein. You can buy a 00 pastry flour at 9% protein and a 00 pizza flour at 14%, both labeled the exact same way. So 00 tells you the texture of the powder, not the strength of the dough. If you want strength from an Italian flour, you ignore the 00 and look for the W value on the bag, which, conveniently, is exactly the number we just met. So scam? Here's the fair verdict. Bread flour is real and it does what it claims. Chewier bite, taller rise, more open crumb, better water absorption, and more forgiveness on long, wet, slow ferments where a weak dough would collapse. For bagels, chewy artisan loaves, high hydration bread, it genuinely earns the extra cost. But, and this is the part the bag won't tell you, a good all-purpose flour, especially a higher protein one, around 11.7%, makes genuinely excellent bread. In blind bakes, the difference is real, but not dramatic. So it's not a scam, it's just often oversold for everyday baking. And if you're caught without it, you can build your own. Stir a little vital wheat gluten, nearly pure protein, into all-purpose, about 1 to 1.5 teaspoons per cup, and you've bumped a weak flour up into bread flour territory. Bread flour in a spoon. Step back and the whole aisle gets simple. You were never choosing between flour and special flour. You were choosing a protein number, and behind it, a gluten strength. Low protein for tender and soft, high protein for tall and chewy, and match the water to whichever you grab. The fancy bag isn't selling you magic. It's selling you a higher number, and now you can read that number yourself and buy exactly the strength your bread needs. No marketing required. So next time someone says you have to use bread flour, you'll know when they're right, when it's oversold, and how to fake it with a spoonful of gluten. Question for you. What's the protein percentage of the flour in your cupboard right now? Go check the bag and tell me in the comments, you'll be surprised. Subscribe to TheLeaveningLab, the science and history of bread, made simple, and next time, your yeast is alive, but your sourdough starter is a whole zoo. What's really living in your dough? See you at the next